welcome to First and 10 with HS Live. I'm sports editor Nicholas Huba. Again with me is Mike McGarry, the king of the cow, the magician, whatever we want to call it.
Indoors. Raining outside.
It's pouring
today.
outside. We were supposed to be we were originally supposed to be at Ocean City, then at Holy Spirit. Now we're in Pleasantville.
Right,
just
there you
in
go.
front of a green screen. We've gotten through the regular season. Now we're on to these playoffs, pods. What are we actually doing here?
Playing some games, basically.
Is that what it
We
is?
have a couple of postseason pods in the Shore Conference, in the West Jersey Football League. A couple of pods that were supposed to be pods and have kind of fallen apart. But I think everybody's trying to do their best to manage the virus and just give kids opportunities to play some football and have some memories.
And I do like what they've done here. They've made competitive games here.
Right,
They've tried to.
right.
You look at the small school pod with like Delran and places
Exactly.
like that. They've given those guys go battle it out for like
Right.
the West Jersey Football League
Right.
small school title. We'll give you a certificate maybe.
Yeah, they're trying to have a South Jersey title or a mythical South Jersey title. That top pod, which is Winslow Township at Holy Spirit, Lenape at Cherokee, you could make a strong case that the winner of that pod could emerge as the number one team in South Jersey in our Elite 11 and the other mythical polls. You also have that second pod, which is good. St. Joe at Ocean City on Friday night, Camden at Burlington Township. The winner of that pod, could also make a case that they could be the number one team in South Jersey also. So some good, interesting football games hopefully to be played this weekend.
And we always say hopefully because up until Thursday or Friday morning, we still have.
You never know. You
playoffs.
just hate to check that Twitter feed and see what's happening. We've had Egg Harbor Township shut down last week, Mainland Regional shut down this week, and unfortunately for both them, their seasons are over as we're towards the end. They have to shut down for 2 weeks. On the bright side, we got Hamilton back last Saturday with a big 37-7 win over Cedar Creek. So, comings and goings.
It's all it is.
basically.
Let's talk about the football now. The Winslow Holy Spirit game is really interesting to me because you got a team in Winslow that's really defensive oriented, and you probably have the best player in South Jersey on
Yeah,
Holy
Patrick
Spirit.
Smith, Holy Spirit, running back, more than 1,200 rushing yards. But they can also throw the ball a little bit. Trevor Cohen with a big 41-yard touchdown pass to Gavin Roman last Friday night, giving Holy Spirit that big 12-7 win over St. Augustine. But Holy Spirit at 5-0, Winslow at 5-0. And this is the great thing about the pods is it gives you matchups that you usually don't see. We're used to seeing Holy Spirit in the postseason play St. Mary of Rutherford and going to their annual battle with St. Joe. Well, now you're going to see Holy Spirit kind of test itself against Winslow, a Group 4 school, and if they win that game or lose, because the losers meet, they're going to get a Group 5 power in Cherokee or Lenape, which is A.J. Russo, the Holy Spirit coach, said they don't normally get to play these teams. So an exciting opportunity for Holy Spirit to say, hey, where do we rank, in South Jersey?
And I think it's good for everyone. We will know, can they compete against those teams week in and week out? I think they can.
Right, of course. I think
they're very good this year.
They're very good, and people don't understand how good their defense is. Johnny Rembert at linebacker, Michael Francisco at linebacker. I've said all season long, Holy Spirit's team speed on defense is remarkable and kind of shocking when you first see it.
And they're going to need that against Winslow. Winslow has a lot of
and
speed.
Cherokee and Lenape.
I think Winslow, the interesting thing is, how many points can each team score on each other in a way? I know that's every football game.
Right.
But these two defenses are really good.
Right, and the flip side of that bracket, Cherokee and Lenape, they'll play on Sunday, and Cherokee kind of a local connection. Their quarterback, Bill Osborne, is the son of the great Wildwood player in the 1980s, Bill Osborne, who went on to the University of Pittsburgh, three-sport star, so connections everywhere.
There we go. Also, a game we're all looking forward to, St. Joe's in Ocean City. You'll be at the greatest high school field in the history of the world on Friday night. I think this is an interesting game. I think this is kind of one of those games we'll kind of figure out how good Ocean City is.
Well, I look at it, good point. I look at these are, and we'll have a story on Press of AC on Thursday, in the paper on Friday. It's our game of the week. I look at it as two teams that are maybe coming in with a little bit of chip on their shoulders, something to prove. I think Ocean City's very good. They're 5-0. Do you know their defense has actually outscored their opponents this season. So even if their offense never scored, their defense has scored more points than they've given up.
Stats all over the
They've
place.
got great players. They've got Division I athletes, maybe not Division I football players, but Division I athletes all over the field. They're 5-0, but still, as you travel around South Jersey, people say Ocean City. I don't know, how good are they? You know.
Is it the schedule?
I think it's the schedule that they played so far this season.
They didn't pick the schedule.
Right, they didn't pick the schedule. And if it was a normal season, they had games scheduled for Holy Spirit, Hamilton. They would have played a great schedule. So they didn't pick their schedule. So I think that's the kind of question there. On the flip side, I think you've got a St. Joe football team that's they lost opening week to Holy Spirit 18-6, and they kind of slipped a little bit into the background a little bit, St. Joe. They're 5-1. They're saying, hey, we beat Millville 50-something to 7. Millville beat St. Augustine. Millville beat Williamstown. There's some St. Joe people who are saying, hey, you know, that Holy Spirit game was opening week. You know, we're playing much better now. If we played Holy Spirit now, who knows what'll happen. So it's a St. Joe team that has something to prove, wants to remind people that we're one of the top teams in South Jersey against an Ocean City team that says, hey, don't ignore us over here on 6th and Atlantic over there in Ocean City.
You've been high on Ocean City all year long.
I think they're a very good football team, so we'll see what happens. And the other two teams in that group, Berlin and Township, 5-0. Camden, 3-1, only lost to Winslow Township. So that's a talented pod right there.
We'll move on to the another pod now. Hamilton, plays Williamstown. I think in the Cal readership, we've all become very familiar with Williamstown.
Well, Williamstown is the first school out of the press area.
So we can actually
right as you go up, we can claim them if we wanted to.
I guess that's one of those interesting games. Williamstown off a couple, kind of the St. Aug loss.
Right,
They're still probably one of the most talented teams.
Oh, yeah. You got Doug Brown at quarterback, Keon Saab at wide receiver. They lose to St. Augustine in overtime. They lose a tough one to a very talented Millville team, 16-8 last Friday. St. Augustine Hamilton comes back from COVID, 37-7, methodically grind their way past Cedar Creek. Great game by Jaden Abrams at running back. Brock Weissman, big fullback, had a nice game. So good games defensively, especially up front, the defensive line for Hamilton. So that's an exciting matchup right there. Hamilton testing themselves against Williamstown.
Of course, Hamilton has a fullback named Brock Weissman. It just fits culturally over there. And wait, we should be talking about St. Augustine right now, but let's just get right to the point here. Basically, they had a game against Nottingham in Mercer County. Nottingham backed out to play Jackson Memorial. We had these pods set up for a reason, and it's just something feels wrong about this.
Yeah, it doesn't feel fair to St. Augustine. Nottingham backs out of the game, so that pod kind of went boom, basically. And right now, St. Augustine looking for a game this week, which as of right now, we're doing this on Wednesday afternoon. I don't know if they're going to find one, and kind of how that pod will unfold next week. We'll just have to wait and see. Nothing's set in stone at this point.
One little thing before we wrap up, the issue of scheduling has been kind of interesting and funny in a way. It's like Twitter's taking on a schedule maker and stuff. How you talk to coaches? How are they finding games at this point? Or calling us?
Right. They call. I got a call Friday morning from Lacey. They were looking to get a number for Oakcrest, hoping to play. Teams are just kind of matching up. Leagues are kind of matching up, saying, hey, you got this game canceled, what we can do. I think the emphasis is just to put people on the field, give them opportunities to play. I know the NJSAA had their executive committee meeting today. The NJSAA officials were very complimentary of the flexibility the leagues have shown in their ability to get games up, schedule games at the last second, teams taking games on 2 days or 1 day of practice, unusual for football coaches, but the emphasis is just to give every kid an opportunity to get on that field.
Before we wrap up, anything else?
I think that's about it. We hope we have good weather this weekend and hope everybody stays healthy and we get the games in this weekend.
Hopefully next week we'll see you guys from a on the field location, not in front of a green screen. Guys, thanks for watching.